Nice wheels. Yes, today we're going to be working on a Citroen Picasso. So the heartwarming backstory as to why this vehicle's been sat for 2.5 years, well, it's proof that the public can lie just as much as the used car trade can. So this vehicle was part exchanged to one of my local dealers, and the customer promised that the automatic gearbox was in good working order. He drove it around the block quickly, seemed to be okay. However, when this car warms up and it's been driven for for 10-15 miles, the automatic gearbox starts to slip. So the purpose of today's video and the operation on this car is just to try and tidy up the outside of it as best we can, just to make it look a little bit more appealing, so when it's being sold as potentially spares or repairs, it gives this car a bit of a fighting chance, because currently it doesn't look very good. The inside's not being done because it's absolutely full of junk, because he's been using it as like a storage shed. He was quite embarrassed about that. He said, just leave that bit alone, I'll clear it out later, which I was absolutely more than happy to do so. And the thumbnail's not clickbait, because if this car doesn't sell for spares or repairs, it will be scrapped. Now, if you're not aware of it, it's actually a bit of good information. There's obviously sites like WeBuyAnyCar.com in the UK who will obviously buy your car. There's ones that have cropped up now that do nothing but scrap cars, and they're offering pretty decent money. You just simply put your registration number in and it gives you a valuation. I think when we checked on this vehicle it was around about £450, so if it can't be sold for spares and repairs, it's going to go to the crusher. I think for myself this car was just a really good test subject. Obviously I've had this new wash bay built, and a couple of customers have asked about would I be interested in sort of doing a wheels off arch cleaning service, etc. And this car came up and I thought it's just a good opportunity to trial the ramp out on the wash bay area and also work out how long this process would take in general, so I can work out a costing in future if customers require it being done. So the process I'm using here is some Kosh Chemie Green Star at about 5:1, which is quite a strong mix, but I'm going to use that on things like the door shuts, engine bay, and obviously these wheel arches. If I'm using it on interiors, I tend to use it around about 10:1. The Snow Foam is built Hamber touchless. The reason why I'm using that is it's quite a warm day today, so by putting the Green Star on there it might evaporate or dry a little bit too quick, so by putting some snow foam on the top of it, it's just going to give it a little bit more dwell time to work its magic and break down the dirt. So once the wheel arches are all flushed out, we can turn our attention to the bodywork. So what I've done is pre-treated the area as we can see on camera, and then got a small detail brush. I just use that to get into all the little final nooks and crannies on here and around the grille area, just to remove all that green stuff that's built up over the last couple of years before giving it a good blast with the jet wash. And with cars this bad, I tend to usually work in sections, so once I've blasted off around the wing mirrors, I'll put some all-purpose cleaner on there, being the Green Star, and then I'll get a little brush and work around all the window frames, door handles, little side mouldings, etc. And as we're about to see on camera, this is what I've done on this rear sort of boot lid section and bumper. And it's just a process of seeing how fast it'll come off. I mean, sometimes you might need to work an area 2 or 3 times to get all of the goop out of there. It just depends how stubborn it wants to be and how fast you can flush it out, really. Now I'm fully aware it would be probably better practice to wash these wheels off the car, but I was a little bit short of time, and it just sort of made it a bit easier for me just to bolt them back on and wash them in situ. In future videos you'll see me having a wheel stand and washing behind alloy wheels, etc. But because this car is such a low value and we're just doing it as a bit of an experiment, I didn't worry too much about that today. By the way, thank you for the great suggestions regarding what we could have done with the thumbnail. I did have a really good laugh in the comment sections about those. However, I was informed by somebody, thank you very much, that a misleading, how can we put it, thumbnail could be classed as misinformation, and therefore the video might be struck down. So I went for the safe option. However, I will look into this because some of the suggestions were absolutely comedy gold. And I've got such an array of stuff that's been lying around for so long, I'm sure we can use some of the suggestions in upcoming videos. So one thing you're going to see in the upcoming videos is one brand being more predominantly used, which is going to be Kosh Chemie. So the idea is, people in the past have asked me to review products. I've been sort of stuck in my ways using the sort of same brands over and over again. I've already used probably 1/4 of Kosh Chemie's range, and I thought it'd be quite good to just sort of expand on that and try a majority of it, so that I can give you an informed decision about what I think of it and give you an honest review. So a bit of product placement here with some Kosh Chemie engine bay dressing. So this product's pretty good, to be fair. You can use it on plastic wheel arch liners as well. I mean, currently I've been using a mixture of Autoglim Super Sheen, which I can buy in a gallon sort of tub, which makes it very, very economical. And also Car Pro Pearl, which I've been diluting 1 to 3. So I think the long-term test will be probably those 3 products, how much you can buy them in bulk to obviously lower the cost down, dilution ratios, etc. Then I can work it out, with give you an informed decision about which one's probably the best option to go for. So after what seems like an eternity of washing this thing, I can finally drive it off, stick it in the workshop, and just rinse the wash bay down. Now I'm fully aware people do not want to watch me spend 30 or 40 minutes machine polishing an old black Citroen Picasso. So I'm going to keep this sort of short and sweet. So first of all, I've gone over with a clay bar just to remove any sort of surface contaminants. Also tar and glue the vehicle prior to doing this as well. And as you can see on camera here, I've just got a little bit of paint thinner on a cloth and very gently rubbed what looks to be like some orange paint transfer. Maybe this was off a bollard or something. Now surprisingly, once I washed this thing off, there wasn't that many dents in it. The bodywork's in relatively good condition. Has got a few scuffs on the bumpers and one of the rear wheel arches that we saw earlier. Now the wheel arch on the rear has got some dents in it. You can't remove all of the damage, but this is like a good little demonstration of what a machine polish can do. I think sometimes with some of these videos we see very high-end cars like Ferraris and Lamborghinis being polished to absolute perfection, which are fantastic to watch. But as this small section of the video shows, you can really improve damaged areas on cars to a point that on some of these cheaper vehicles it's probably an acceptable standard. And again, likewise, what I'll do here on this front section is give it a good machine polish and then just go around with some solid black paint, because this vehicle wasn't metallic, and just touch it in afterwards and it just takes your eye off. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but it's definitely an 80% improvement. So with the car now outside, we can do a few before and afters, and by no means is this car perfect, but it's a massive improvement and does give it sort of a fighting chance when it's advertised as spares and repairs. Somebody might come along, maybe a home mechanic or something, and think, do you know what, I can find a second-hand gearbox and fit that myself and carry on using this car on a daily basis. I mean, off the top of my head, I think it's a 1.6 diesel. I think it done about 80,000 miles, so it's got plenty of life left in it if somebody chooses to repair it. So with this one complete, what are we going to be doing next? So next week's car's already filmed and I'm going to start editing that shortly, and it's going to be a little Ford Fiesta. Rear arches on that one were extremely mucky. We can do the backs of the wheels as well, so it should be quite an interesting little video. Also there's some filthy seat extraction as well, so it's a bit of a more all-round clean. Thanks for watching the video, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one.